struggling with when to use ESE, ESTE, ESA, ESTA, and those other tricky words? You are not alone, but don't worry because today we are tackling Spanish demonstratives head-on. These little words can be confusing, but I'm going to make them super easy to understand. Hello everyone and welcome back to Fluency Rocks. I'm Carolina, your Spanish teacher from Colombia. And as I just told you, today we have an interesting topic to cover. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. What are demonstratives? Demonstrative adjectives and pronouns are those that mean in English this, that, these, those. In Spanish, it gets a bit more interesting because we have two ways to say that: ESE and aquel. The one you choose depends on how far away something is, either in space or time. Something to keep in mind is that it's crucial that our demonstrative adjectives match the number and gender of the nouns they modify. And here's a fun fact. Spanish has neutral form of these words too. They are ESTO, ESO, and aquello. We are going to illustrate this with a table, but before that, I want to take a moment to thank those who have shown their support through buymeacoffee.com, especially Uli, who recently bought me 2 coffees. Your contributions are more than just coffees. They are the most powerful positive feedback I could ever get. This motivates me and fuels my passion to continue producing high-quality content just for you. It's a clear sign that I'm on the right track, so thank you. And remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the fantastic videos I've tailored just for you. Your support means the world to me. Now, let's dive back into our topic. Now, let's analyze the following table. If the thing referred to is near the speaker, we use the singular forms ESTE masculine and ESTA feminine, meaning this. The plural forms are ESTOS masculine and ESTAS feminine, meaning these. If the thing we are talking about is far from the speaker, we use ESE masculine singular and ESA feminine singular, meaning that. As for the plural forms, we have ESOS masculine and ESAS feminine, both meaning those in English. In the table, we can also see the singular forms aquel and aquella, that also mean that in English, and the plural forms aquellos and aquellas, meaning those. Now let's see some examples. Este, esta, estos, estas. Este libro es aburrido. This book is boring. Esta casa es muy vieja. This house is very old. Estas chicas son inteligentes. These girls are smart. Estos hombres son trabajadores. These men are hardworking. Ese, esa, esos, esas. Esa falda es muy cara. That skirt is very expensive. Ese producto no está en la lista. That product is not on the list. Esos teléfonos están dañados. Those phones are broken. Esas son frutas de temporada. Those are fruits in season. Notice that este and ese, the masculine singular forms, don't end in O, they end in E instead. Keeping this in mind will help you avoid making mistakes. Aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas. As you saw in the table, those words are also translated into English as that and those, as well as ese and its variations. So, what's the difference, you might ask? Well, it seems like aquel and its other forms are becoming less common. Some language experts have noticed a trend of using ese instead, even though aquel might sound more elegant. So, if you are learning and unsure, it's usually safe to go with ese when you mean that. As a native speaker, I rarely use aquel myself, and I've also noticed it's being used less and less. However, it's still in use, just not as much as ese and its variations. Now, let's see some examples with aquel and all its forms. Aquel vestido es horrible. That dress is ugly. Aquella camisa es muy elegante. That shirt is very stylish. Aquellos cisnes son hermosos. Those swans are beautiful. Aquellas casas son de estilo colonial. Those houses are colonial style. Neuter demonstrative pronouns. Neuter demonstrative pronouns don't refer to any specific noun. Instead, they might point to an unknown object, a statement, or a broad idea, depending on the situation. They come in three forms: esto, this, eso, that, and aquello, that. The differences between them mirror the differences between ESTE, ESE, and Aquel, which we've already discussed. One key thing to remember is that we shouldn't use these neuter forms when talking about living things. Also, it's considered offensive to use them to refer to a person. Now, let's see some examples with the neuter pronouns. ¿Qué es esto? What is this? When asking a question like this, the context is crucial since we might be referring to a mess we just saw, a thing we are pointing at whose name we don't know, and other possibilities. ¿Qué es eso que está allá arriba? What is that thing up there? No quiero hablar sobre aquello. I don't want to talk about that. In this case, aquello refers to a specific topic both interlocutors know about. Now comes the fun part, putting Spanish demonstratives into practice in real-world scenarios. The upcoming dialogue will give you a clear picture of how to use demonstratives in Spanish, depending on the context. Are you ready to explore this with me? Let's go! Viendo el menú de un restaurante típico. ¿Qué es esto, Leonardo? Esta es una sopa típica de esta ciudad. La base son lentejas y tiene una condimentación única, muchos vegetales y especias. ¡Ah, interesante! ¿Y estas empanadas que tienen por dentro? Son de tofu ahumado refrito, espinaca y verduras. Son deliciosas. Por cierto, mira este plato del menú. Se ve bien. ¿Lo has probado? Sí, me encanta. Aquel día que vine lo pedí. Son unas pastas con salsa napolitana y tomates secos, pero hoy quiero probar algo diferente. Me gustaría probar estos frijoles cubanos, pero no me he decidido aún. Buena elección. Se ven deliciosos en la foto. Yo quiero probar esos patacones con salsa picante que está comiendo esa señora que está allá. Se ven buenísimos. Esa sería una buena entrada para compartir. Sí, se ven bien. A mí también me llaman la atención esas croquetas de papa que está comiendo el niño de la mesa de la derecha. Se ven muy crujientes. Yo las probaré en otra ocasión. Pero sabes, hoy voy a pedir ese plato de champiñones asados con vegetales y papas horneadas que me recomendaste aquella vez. Eso suena delicioso, pero mira, yo quiero pedir eso que lleva el mesero que viene hacia acá. Se ve buenísimo. Vamos a hacer nuestro pedido entonces. Dale, pues ya tengo mucha hambre. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to stay tuned with all the amazing content I'm constantly creating just for you. Your support is incredibly meaningful to me. And remember, I always welcome your comments and suggestions for new topics. They guide me in creating the most useful content specifically for you. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever been confused by the Spanish verbs probar, tratar, and intentar? These verbs can be quite confusing for English speakers because most of the time they are translated as to try. However, you will be surprised to discover other possible translations for these verbs. So, if you want to learn more about all the other possible translations, make sure you watch my video called PROBAR, TRATAR and INTENTAR in Spanish with a dialogue. It's packed with handy tips to help you master these verbs. Click here to watch it and keep rocking your language learning goals.